guys, we've been practicing with the welder. The welds don't look that bad. Those are probably, this one right here is my third weld, fourth and fifth. My other welds are right here. So this one right here was my first weld. It's not even really a weld. That one was my second. Then my third was over there, and then I fiddled around some more on this flat stuff. And then practiced with this bung, which that looks really bad, but I've practiced a little bit more and adjusted my numbers and stuff on my welder, so I should be able to hopefully get something like that middle one right there. Played around on the bottom of that. Not the best, but we're doing it ourselves, so I guess that's what counts. It's kind of like Photoshop, but with welding. So I was super excited to get this tacked up, just because these are our actual sway bar links. So I've got that one tacked on both corners, both of the bungs. And please excuse me guys, I know I sound a little bit different. I'm very sick right now, but I've been in the bed for 7 days. That's why I've not made any videos. I literally just now got out of the bed today. I had a buddy of mine, without coming in contact with him, I got him my debit card, and he went and picked up the welding gas for me. So huge shout out to Devin. So we've got the welding cart set up, and I don't know if you've seen that video, but I put a bolt in it right there just to hold the welder onto the cart. Got the cart and everything with the white Teflon tape on all of the connections. We have no gas leaks or nothing. Pretty much, I've got it. I've played around with it. I feel like my wire speed is a little bit fast because my puddles keep on, they're very large puddles, so I'm not really sure what that is. So I turned both things down, the voltage and the wire feed speed. And then I'm also not sure what this last number is. So if anybody knows what that third dial is, just comment below. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I've been playing around with those settings a little bit, trying to get my technique down. But I mean, sooner or later, guys, we're just gonna have to send it and just go for it. If we end up having to buy some more bungs and tubing, it is what it is. So I've got this one set up right here. I'm about to tack it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and video that. I can do that one-handed, no big deal. Please don't pay any attention to my workbench. I still have to clean it off, and I think I'm gonna try to weld up and build a metal table, or at least a metal plate to go across a new wooden workbench, or maybe this one after I clean it off and bolt an actual welding table, like a piece of plate steel to it. So then we have a place to just ground it and just set parts on. But for now, we're just gonna put the ground directly onto the tube, and then we're gonna flip our mast down and go ahead and tack this on. Okay, and now I'm gonna spin it around and tack the other side. See, that's why you shouldn't film. Hold on, I'm gonna ground that off. That's why you shouldn't film and try to weld when you don't even know how to weld at the same time. Alright guys, so now that bung is tacked in. Now we're ready to tack in this one. So now we've got both of our sway bar end links tacked, two tacks on each one. And now what we're gonna do is, I'm not ready to weld these just yet because I'm just not good enough. And yes, I can just weld them in and then grind them down with the grinder, but I'm gonna attempt to practice enough to where I can actually put down a good bead that's good enough to leave. But if it's not, I can always ground it down. But you know, I can't do this perfect the first time, guys, so I'm not really too worried about it. So what I'm gonna do now is just set up the camera and time lapse, just practicing a few welds here and there. So I'm just gonna pretty much sit here and get some practice in. That's really all that we can do, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up. I'm not gonna do this too long because I'm starting to run out of energy very, very fast. Like I said, guys, I've not been out of the bed in 7 days. tomorrow will be 7 days, so I guess just 6 days. But I do not feel good at all, and I'm not the type of person that can just sit down in the house and just stay there. And me being this sick for this long has just put a dampener in everything. But I got the welding gas, and I just wanted to practice because it's like the only thing that I can do really. I can't really paint because I don't have the energy to put my respirator on and breathe without, breathe with the respirator and all that, because I've been having trouble breathing. So let's go ahead and set this time lapse up and get some practice in. And then I'm gonna go inside and go to bed. So here's pretty much what we've got, guys. This right here was my last one, which I think is one of the best ones. And then that one right there was a pretty good one, I think. Except for that spot right there at the end, of course. Now this piece right here, very proud of it. So that weld right there was my last weld, and I think that's one of the best looking ones out of all of them. This one right here was my first weld, but I think that it was a little bit big. And then this one right here was pretty good too. And I done one going uphill, and I think it's probably one of the best ones as well. So, I mean, welding is, I guess, just about like anything. It's gonna take practice. But, there's obviously a lot of people that would just send stuff out the door with that. A lot of people that would send stuff out the door with that and worse. And then a lot of people, this looks like absolute garbage to them. So, I mean, it's just like with anything. I think that we can definitely do better than we did right here, though. That one is just a little bit wide. So I think that we can definitely do better than that now. So I'm just trying to figure out how to make a lower weld, I guess, so to say. Not so tall wire feed speed, because I think that means that I have too much feed. Or maybe I need to do bigger, make it wider, and then it won't be as tall. Or I could be going a little bit too slow, I think. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on welding. Definitely don't know how to weld, but just trying to learn here. I think we can definitely weld some bungs into the sway bar end links now. So I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and send it and do it. May not be the best idea, but like I said, we can always just put excess weld all the way around and then smooth it, and it would probably honestly look better than a weld because it would just look like one solid piece of tubing. So worst comes to worst, that's what we'll do. But I guess I'm gonna go ahead and try to lay down something on these sway bar end links right there. So I'm gonna get them over here and ground them out and see what I can do. Okay guys, so here's what we've got. So we've still got to do a little bit more sanding, but it's all blue and heat colored inside, so I feel like we've got pretty good penetration. And sand this down a little bit more and smooth it out and just make it look very cone shaped. But overall, I feel like that's gonna look pretty clean with no welds at all. I'm not a huge fan of weld-in bungs. Trevor at PMF, he actually buys thicker wall tubing and uses like a thread and tap, and he would like thread these to where they wouldn't have any weld-in bungs at all. So that's pretty cool, because then you don't have to worry about a weld-in bung failing. But I don't think this is going anywhere. If it fails, then we can always retry it or just order some new ones. But I have $8 in the tubing. Charles hooked me up with the Heim joints because he took them off his truck and he had cut them, so he didn't really feel like selling them or nothing. So he hooked me up on those. So I have nothing in the Heims, nothing in the misalignment spacers, $8 in this tubing, and then the bungs were $6. or $5 a piece, I think. So I've got about 26 bucks in that. So I've literally got like 40 bucks in these by the time it's all said and done. And then the brackets from Trevor at PMF to change the bottom, you know, you can't really run those without that anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and weld all 3 other bungs. So this one and then those 2. Try to smooth that down best I can, and then I'll take the DA to it and smooth them completely, and then we'll be ready to put these babies on. I'm gonna go ahead and weld in these other 3 bungs. So that one went a little bit better. Obviously, if I clean this up, it would kind of match. But I think that's what's really hurting me on these. Right there, it looks very bad. But each one is getting better. I mean, I don't care one bit to show you this, guys, because it is what it is. I mean, this is getting welded. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to learn, and sooner or later I'll get it. You know, whether people like it or not, sooner or later, if somebody practices, and this goes for anybody, if you practice enough with anything, you will learn it sooner or later. If you set your mind to it, you can do it. So pretty much our only bad spot on this one is right here, and I could probably lightly go across that and make that look a little bit better, but then that's going to give a super thick weird weld right through there. So, and again, like I was saying, I think what's hurting me on this is that it's circular, so it's really hard to start and stop and do, you know, 2 or 3 different things. It would be nice if I had somebody here that that I could actually just lay this on a table. Or really, I wouldn't even have to have any help. If I could just lay it on a metal table and ground the table, I could actually roll it as I weld, and then I could just do 2 beads instead of 4. But anytime that you're doing 4 beads right here, that just makes it a lot harder, you know, starting and stopping. You get these joints like this, so obviously it's going to look bad. But as far as like this joint right here, I mean, that doesn't look the best, but it doesn't look horrible. You know, I mean, a man could probably leave that if it looked like that all the way around. But yeah, so I'll show you my next one after I get it welded, and I'll show you the one after that. And we should get better each time, guys. Let's go. Alright guys, so here is the 3rd bung that I've welded in. I got a little bit longer beads on that one, so I only had to do 3 passes. And then I had a little bitty hole right here, so I filled that in as well. But I almost got away with just 3 passes on that one, guys. So I'm gonna try my best to do 3 passes on this next one. If I had a metal table to ground to, I really think that I could roll this and do it in 2 passes. So what I mean by that is, like, if this wood right here was metal, we would just take our ground clamp and clamp it onto this wood, and then I could literally take one hand and just freehand the other side, and I could just roll it as I weld it. So on our last one, we got 1, 2, 3 beads all the way around. So I actually did what I set out to do. They're not the best, but this compared to the first one, I should have got a video of the first one before I grounded it down. But either way, you can compare this, you can compare these 2 together. So you've got pretty much 1 bead, 2 bead, 3 bead, 4, and I think 5, compared to 3 longer ones on this. So that's literally just with welding in 2 bungs. So you just got to set your mind to it, guys. I'm sure if I keep on and keep on and keep on practicing, then you could do even better. Obviously, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. But as far as practicing something like this, I guess you just have to order a bunch of cheap bungs and just practice welding in bungs, because I really don't know of another weld that's kind of like that except for weld-in bungs. We do have some extra DOM tubing from me and Charles building the Heim steering on the truck. So we may try to find us somebody that would want me to build them some traction bars and order some bungs for those, and maybe build a set of traction bars on the channel. I've got some U-bolt bottom plates off of an F350 that I was wanting to take right here and grind these 2 rounded spots right there. They're kind of rounded. I wanted to grind those flat, piece of plate steel down through here as kind of like a gusset, and weld that in, and then smooth it down right there so it still fits onto the axle, and weld that piece of plate steel in, and then weld the piece of plate steel right here and see if I couldn't weld all that together. And then I would have a flat bottom plate that I could put 2 tabs on and do some brackets like that for like the rear of a truck. All right guys, so here's gonna be pretty much the overview of today's video. Like I said, I'm still gonna fine tune these and make them look even better before we powder them. Make them look super symmetrical, and those will look awesome. I went ahead and screwed in the heim joints and stuff so then we can mount those up, test fit them. I'm gonna do that off camera, go ahead and get these powder coated, stuff like that. I'm about to pull the truck in here. There's gonna be a bunch of content coming soon. As soon as I get to feeling better and I get back into the paint booth, get caught up on some of my customers, then we will start working on the truck. I've got a lot of orders going out towards the end of this week. Definitely a lot of orders going out next week. And then about the week after that, we should be able to make a lot of YouTube content because I'm going to quit taking as many orders and focus on welding, YouTube, my truck, powder coating stuff. We've got the face plates that we've got to have milled out at Striker. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up. But yeah, so pretty much we've got these welds over here, these welds right here, and then of course the 4 welds on our sway bar end links that we done. These welds right here, that one looks pretty good, and that one looks pretty good, I think. Then right there we practiced on a bung, and then right there we practiced with that tubing, just making sure that I wasn't gonna burn through it or nothing. But I mean, overall, once I get those smoothed down and everything, I think these are gonna look super sweet powder coated. I kind of like that the welds aren't there. Even if the welds were perfect, I think I would probably still smooth them now. Seeing that with the heim joints and stuff, it just looks super clean. So once those are powder coated, that's going to really set off those heims where they're the chromoly and they're silver on that red. I think that's going to look super good, guys. But I know that I've not made a video in a while. I just wanted to come out here, turn the heater on. It's not too cold tonight, and I've not been out of the bed in, like I said, like 6 or 7 days since Wednesday, whenever that was last week. So my life is a blur right now, but we're getting back on track. We're feeling better. So tomorrow, I'm hoping to start knocking out some customers. I should feel like being in the paint booth tomorrow. It's just so hard to breathe right now. I'm not really gonna say what I have because I don't want to risk getting demonetized or anything like that. But it's just really hard to breathe, and I'm staying away from everybody, quarantining myself. So I've not been able to do anything or go anywhere, you know, buy paint, buy supplies. I've not been able to do anything, guys, for the last 6 or 7 days. But we're getting out now. Tomorrow we should be clear. So we're gonna go ahead and start painting, get some of that stuff knocked out, and then we've got a bunch of YouTube videos coming very soon, especially with the little blue car. But always remember, guys, that everybody starts out as a nobody. And I will see you all in the next video whenever we install these sway bar end links after we get them back from powder coat. So it may be a little bit, but I'll see y'all in the next video, guys. Y'all take care. Peace.